Jack Rubenstein. This is the first edition of our weekly roundup for the Recess section of the Chronicle. I am one of our culture editors.
I'm the culture editor, Sydny. I'm a junior.
I'm a first year and I'm a contributing writer.
I'm Ellenor Brown. I'm a senior and I'm also a contributing writer.
All right, so our first subject is the Emmys roundup, which took place this last weekend. Does anyone have any snubs or surprises they want to talk about from the show?
I don't know if it's a snub or a surprise, but I was just a little bit disappointed in Game of Thrones winning yet again. I don't know, I just thought it was a bit tired and predictable, and especially for them to have that be the last award given for Best Drama.
I felt like it almost had to happen, like last season. Yeah. It's this huge cultural thing. Even though people didn't like it, I think it just sort of had to happen.
Right.
Tie a bow on it.
I guess it was such like a disappointment. You wonder, it seemed like it, like culturally. You wonder if it would have sent like the biggest message for it to not get the Emmy.
Yeah.
But it has enough defenders out there.
They were not consistent on like final season send-offs too, because VEEP sort of got shut out.
Right.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus lost for the first time ever. She had won every single season, which is insane. The show itself lost to Fleabag in the Outstanding Comedy Series section. So sort of surprising that VEEP, which I thought had a very good final season, I actually wrote a review for Recess, got locked out, and Game of Thrones did so well.
Yeah, I think it was interesting too. There was a director who came up, I think he directed an episode of Succession, but I could be wrong, who said something about, oh, this is really a British invasion here tonight, and I was like, that's pretty much the best way to describe it. But also the Emmys isn't strictly American.
Right.
But I think like that was a lot of what I was reading on Twitter, was the same British-led shows winning over and over again, but plenty of Americans win at the BAFTAs, so.
I'm kind of glad VEEP didn't win. And Julia Louis-Dreyfus didn't win. I think Fleabag really made a splash culturally this year, and I think it deserved to be recognized. And Phoebe deserved to be recognized for her work. And you know, Julia has all these Emmys that she's accrued over the years. I think she's fine.
She might have enough.
One. I guess it would have been a nice like final like, oh, good job. But like she did, it doesn't. It's not a message that like needed to be sent. I think it's good to reward actual quality content.
Yeah, especially since Fleabag is done also.
Right.
It's
over.
Yeah.
Alright, so the other big thing about the Emmys this year was that there was, again, or following the Oscars, there was not a host. What are our thoughts on this?
I mean, I guess it's good to keep the ceremony going, but it just feels like there's no draw anymore. And I guess the low viewership reflects that. It's the lowest ever. Yeah, I just feel like people are giving up.
There's no like consistent.
There's no push for like awards anymore. There's so much like social media is so important now, where like it's almost better to have like a huge social media following and fan following than like a prestigious award. Like people really stop caring.
So what did we think about the Oscars, the hostless Oscars? Because I found it and it's still entertaining just as good myself.
Yeah.
And it felt like it was really packed with the actual films. So I really appreciated that aspect of the Oscars.
Yeah.
I think it just depends how good the mini hosts or the presenters are. If the presenters are bad and their jokes are tired and stale, it's not going to be good.
Yeah, I thought the Oscars went well with Emmys did.
Like a good host can really carry the show.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Andy Samberg in 2015 for the Emmys was great.
Yeah.
And like it really carries the show. So there's less room for error, I think.
Yeah, it can be just too unpredictable, and at times it felt like there was someone introducing the presenter who was going to talk about this.
Right.
And it just kind of
like,
went on and on for like 5 minutes. I was like, okay, what's the next category? So that got a little tired.
Alright, so last topic, fall TV and movies tends to be a big season for TV shows, some big fall movies. Do we have any we're particularly excited for?
I'm excited for Robert Eggers' The Lighthouse. He directed The Witch back in 2015. It was one of the best horror movies of the 2010s, I think. This movie apparently isn't supposed to be like scary, but it has Willem Dafoe, Robert Pattinson in it. It's black and white. It's crazy. They're in a lighthouse. I think it's going to be pretty awesome.
I've heard a lot of hype about like the trailer specifically.
Yes, it's incomprehensible,
really cool
and I love
trailer.
it.
Really
There's tentacles. There's Robert Pattinson. I'm like, wow. Show me more.
Yeah, so BoJack last season is going to be in 2 parts, one this fall and one in winter, I think. And they just released the trailer for it. And as I was watching the trailer, you know, it had like this like nostalgic piano sound, and it was like BoJack writing this letter, and I was like, wow, they're really building the nostalgia here. And I was like, I feel like this is going to be the last season. And sure enough, at the end of the trailer, they make that reveal. And then there's a little bit of controversy around it because one of the showrunners tweeted afterwards implying that basically Netflix canceled it.
Right.
But it's complicated as a fan because a lot of the fans are thinking it's probably a good time for BoJack to end while it's still pretty good. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any more playing out among like the Netflix versus showrunners dynamic. It's a shame that Tuca and Birdie also got canceled.
After 1 season.
Honestly, I think that's kind of a gift to have it end when you feel like it's at the right time, instead of just have it drag. The Good Place is also ending, and I used to watch it, and then I watched it as a kind of show where like, oh, I don't want to start anything new because I have like a test next week or something like that. But I think like after the first season revealed that they are actually in the bad place, they had to get spoiler, sorry. They had to get really scientific about it, and so sometimes, not that it was over my head, but there were a lot of moving parts, and the story got really complex. So I'm just looking forward to seeing how it ends. And then I also am looking forward to Ryan Murphy's Politician on Netflix.
Good Place in the past couple seasons has been chaotic, but I'm obsessed with the show. I think it's one of the funniest,
I love the
smartest shows
cast,
on TV.
yeah.
The
It
cast
is,
is
yeah.
Are
great.
you anti-Good Place? Remember
No,
that?
it's just people who watch The Good Place sometimes act like they're so intelligent for watching The Good Place.
It's not that highbrow,
No.
but
No.
it's
But no, it looks-
wicked
it looks-
funny.
it looks
They have a
cute,
lot
it
of
looks
fun
funny.
with it, yeah.
It's just, it looks
But they've gone through so many scenarios now that this was the time to wrap it
Yeah,
up. I'm
right.
glad they didn't push it to 6
Yeah,
seasons
Yeah, me too.
or 5 seasons.
9
whatever
seasons of
it
The
should be.
Office.
Sunny at 15, 14. I guess I could do mine. I was Good Place, Silicon Valley final season this year. Time for them to wrap it up too, though.
Get it wrapped up.
The show has been really great throughout its entire run, really funny. Thomas Middleditch is incredible as Richard Hendricks. And Gavin Belson, I forget who the actor's name is one of the best sort of cartoonish-y villains in a comedy show. He's incredible. And Zombieland 2 coming out in a couple weeks.
Do we
Very
need
exciting.
to know? Am I excited? Yes. Am I thrilled? Yes.
I believe they're bringing in, she had a weird name in the trailer. They're adding a new girl to the crew.
Oh, she has blonde hair. Madison.
Yeah.
Madison, like, Wisconsin?
Yeah, I think because a
They're all
couple of
named-
them are named after.
They're all named after cities.
Yeah,
I think
so.
Madison.
So I know nothing about Zombieland. What's like the context of?
Zombie apocalypse, 4 ragtag survivors. They
It's
all
like
go
super bad era.
right, and they all go by like the name of like the city they're trying to get to. It's so funny,
Okay.
but it's also heartwarming. I cried. I cried.
Jesse Eisenberg,
Emma
Emma Stone,
Stone.
it's really good.
It's Abigail Breslin is the new
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now she's old.
And then A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, which isn't until late November, but the trailer came out a couple weeks ago and it looks great. And Tom Hanks can do no
Is
wrong.
this-
So
Is this Tom Hanks as
Mr. Rogers.
I-
Mr.
It's-
Rogers.
It doesn't sell me.
really,
No, I don't.
Did you watch it when you were little though?
I did.
Okay.
To me, I don't think Tom Hanks can be Mr. Rogers. I don't think his face looks like him.
okay.
I agree.
I think it's hard to get around that, and I don't think he did the voice. I saw the trailer. He goes for the voice, and he does a pretty good job.
I guess it's going to be a little harder too because they had the documentary that came out last
Right.
year, and
So-
now
That's really
which
good.
was very popular
Right.
and well received, and now you go from that
It's
to
a little
this, and it's
close.
hard to take
Yeah.
his actual face.
I think I was just trying
Out.
to choose like who is the most like
Beloved.
beloved,
Mhm.
who's like never done anybody wrong. Tom
Yeah.
Hanks, like just give him the Oscar
Yeah,
already.
Who dies
to
at the
me,
end of the
it's
week.
just
Oh.
Tom Hanks again. When we
Tom
when
Hanks
we
again.
need somebody to like make us feel good, we go back to Tom
Here-
Hanks
here it
every single
comes.
time.
I guess we're going to talk about Kanye, but nobody
Yeah,
knows what's going to
that's-
happen with Kanye, so maybe
It
we'll
wasn't
wait.
released.
Maybe we'll wait to the next
Right.
one. It wasn't released.
When
It was
won't be
supposed to release on
released.
Friday.
It won't be released by the next one. It won't be
We're-
Well, he
released by
has
the
a
next one.
documentary now.
Oh, I
associated
didn't
with
know
it. We're
about
getting
Yeah.
we're getting weekly or like periodic updates from Kim Kardashian
Right.
because that's the world we live in now.
Yeah.
So stay tuned, I guess. We'll see if it comes out. If it does, we can talk about it, I guess.
It won't.
All right. That's all we got for this time. Hopefully, we'll be back soon.